Sentence fragments. First, we will talk about a definition of the fragment and the kinds of fragments and how to correct them. A sentence fragment is an incomplete thought. In other words, it does not make sense by itself. However, a complete sentence should express a complete thought. Let's look at the following example of a fragment. My job being very stressful and fast-paced. We can see here that this sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. It looks like a complete sentence, but when you read it, it doesn't make sense. Now we're going to look at ways of recognizing sentence fragments and how to correct them. The first type are sentences that lack a subject or a verb. Some fragments look like sentences. However, they may actually have a subject, but no verb. Or they may have a verb, but no subject. And in other cases, they may neither have a subject nor a verb. For example, my father being an extremely strong person. This fragment lacks a main verb, and in order to correct it, we need to remove being and add it with the main verb is. Another common mistake mainly cares about the grade. This fragment lacks a subject. The student mainly cares about the grade. Here we have corrected it by adding a subject, the student. Another example of a fragment is when the following words come at the beginning, they may form the fragments. Words like also, especially, except, for example, in addition, and such as. These sentences also need subjects and verbs. Without subjects and verbs, these sentences can turn into fragments like the following. Especially the youngest member of the family. This fragment has neither a subject nor a verb. Now we can add parents and we can add the verb spoil. The correct sentence would be, sometimes parents spoil their children, especially the youngest child of the family. Now we need to look at other kinds of fragments. If a sentence has both a subject and a verb, check that it makes a complete statement. Many sentences that have both a subject and a verb do not make sense by themselves. They began as a statement, but they were left out hanging without a finish. These are fragments that usually begin with one of the following subordinating words, like after, although, as if, because, and so on. For instance, when smoking is prohibited in public places. When you read this statement, you feel that it doesn't make sense. The subordinating conjunction when leads the reader to ask what will happen when smoking is prohibited in public places. Hence, the subordinating conjunction here makes this a dependent clause, and this is not a complete sentence. We can correct it by removing the subordinating conjunction when. Therefore, it will turn into a complete sentence. Smoking is prohibited in public places. We could also correct it in a different way. We could say, when smoking is prohibited in public places, it will help people to quit smoking. Adding an independent clause turns this fragment into a sentence. Another common mistake is like the following, even if they apologize for their mistake. In order to correct this underlined fragment, we need to add it to the following sentence. So sometimes you can correct a fragment by linking it to the sentence before it or after it. Now we have learned the kinds of fragments and how to correct them. Thank you for watching, and see you later in other videos.